36 participants have joined. Good morning to all of you again. So in the first unit, we have learned about the MOSFET and their structure, their working principles, and the amplifier designed by the MOSFET and different biasing techniques also, some other circuit like the source follower, and as well as we have seen the frequency response of the MOSFET based amplifiers, and there we have mostly followed the voltage divider biasing as well as the common source circuit. Now, today we have to be start with the second unit, that is the succession of that some advanced level circuitry made by the MOSFET. That is the unit uh, title is again MOSFET circuits. So if you have to be come to this particular point, these are the some outline for your second unit. If you have to be see the outline, so in this unit we are going to learn about the MOSFET as a switch, the first topic we are going to learn. Then MOSFET could be used as a resistor and a diode, and then CMOS inverter, some other advanced level circuitry like the current sink, current source, current mirror, and all this circuitry would be made by the MOSFET. And this is the first phase of the second unit, this circuit. Second phase, if you have to become for the second unit, is that is we have to be learn about the feedback amplifier. So types of the feedback amplifier, effect of the feedback on the amplifier circuitry. There are different types of feedbacks are there. There are the 4 types. Out of that, we have to be going to learn about the 2 types mostly, that is the voltage series and the current series feedback amplifier and their analysis. And if you have to be come to the third phase of this second unit, is that we have to be learn about the oscillators. So oscillators basically work on the Barkhausen criteria, and we have to be learn Wien bridge oscillator as well as the phase shift oscillator. So this is the outline of this second. So I have just partitioned this unit in the 3 different sections. The first section we have to be learn the MOSFET based circuitry, either it is used as a switch or as an inverter, and then we have to be secondary we have to cover the feedback amplifier, and third we have to be go to cover the oscillators. And all this circuitry has been made from the N channel MOSFET we preferred. Now come for the today's point, that MOSFET as a switch. If you have to be come to this particular point, apart from the MOSFET, what other device could be used as a switch? BJT could be also used as a switch. And in the first unit, we have seen the comparison of the BJT and MOSFET as well. So here, if you have to be see, a very simple and a small comparison has given for the BJT and MOSFET as a switch. So here, if you have to be seen this diagram, in the left hand side, there is a circuit is made, that is made by the BJT, and here the BJT would be acting as a switch, and for this the required condition is that your VCE should be less than the 0.2 volt or cutting voltage of the BJT. And then also, if you have to see that it is a current control device, so obviously it is IB is equal to IC upon IC, means the collector current upon beta. Okay, these are the some conditions that is required, and this is the way that we have to be connect the supply voltage as well as load resistance. Load resistance is always connected to the collector terminal, and the emitter is here common, means it is a common emitter configuration, and input is given to the base of the transistor. In the similar fashion, you can also connect the MOSFET. N-channel MOSFET is shown actually here as a, and you can operate the MOSFET based circuitry as a switching device. Now you can see here we have to use the similarly supply voltage and then the load resistor same. The required condition is that it should be input voltage that is given to the gate, actually VGS or VI, whatever you can consider. It should be greater than threshold voltage. We have to know that to turn on the MOSFET, this is the required minimum condition is that your input voltage should be greater than the threshold voltage. That's why this condition has been be taken here. And the output voltage, that is VDS, drain to source, because drain is load resistor is connected to drain terminal, so output is always drawn from the drain, and here the source is your common, or you can say it is a common source configuration. In this case, your VDS always should be less than the VDS saturation, or either VGS minus VTN. Okay, so this condition would be satisfied, then and then only we can say that our MOSFET is acting as a switching device. And there is some other parameter as shown in this particular slide, that is a speed and thermal effect. So this is actually comparative between the BJT and MOSFET. So we have learned in the first unit the comparison. Anyone remember that which out of BJT and MOSFET, which device having the higher speed, switching speed? Anyone remember? Anyone? Out of BJT and MOSFET, which is having the highest switching speed? MOSFET is having the switching speed higher than the BJT. Similarly, which transistor would be having a problem because of the thermal effect? The BJT is having the problem thermal shutdown, but MOSFET would be free from the thermal shutdown or thermal runaway or thermal effect reason. So that's why the MOSFET is now popular to act as a switching device, better more than the BJT. Some other features of MOSFETs are also responsible for this. One of the most attractive features of the MOSFET that you can decrease the size of the MOSFET as small as possible in the nanometers. That is not possible with the BJT. That's why it is also a very attractive feature, would be further drive the MOSFET should be used as a switch, or used as a resistor, as a capacitor, as a diode, whatever. Any device, electronic device could be made with the help of the MOSFET. This is the one of the most attractive feature of the MOSFET is there. So now we have to come to the first our topic. So as per our topic, we have to learn about the MOSFET as switch. So if you have to be see in this particular slide, there is a one diagram has been shown here. Okay, and the three terminals are shown also in this particular diagram. So this figure 2.1, if you have to be see, this is the first diagram of this chapter. This would be considered MOSFET is to be used as a switch. Here you can see that there is a three terminals of this A, B, and C. Either C is basically representation of gate. Here the C is nothing but the representation of the gate. You can easily identify that it is connected to the gate terminal, and always to the gate terminal we provide the input. Okay, so C is here acting as a input terminal. But if you have to see either the terminal A or B, you can use it as a either a drain terminal or the source terminal of the MOS transistor, depending upon the terminal voltage. If A is having the higher voltage, if I am considering about the N channel MOSFET, if A is having the higher voltage than the B, so A is your drain and B is your source. If B is having the higher voltage than the A, then B is the drain and A is the source. And for the sake of simplicity for our discussion, we have shown also the arrow that would be also identification helpful for identifying the source terminal. So here it is very much clear that A is acting as a source terminal and B is acting as a drain terminal. Okay, so it is very simple to identify which is source and which is drain terminal. But you can interchange also. It is not compulsory that you would use A as a source and B as a drain. You can interchange depending upon the shifting of the voltage, terminal voltages. Now, if I am saying this MOSFET is acting as a switch, means what? What is the role of the switch? Anyone remember what is the role of the generalized switch? A general switch would be work in what? Two modes. A general switch basically work in two modes. If you remember the structure of the switch, it is like that. If you have to be see a general uh, working of a switch, suppose there is a general switch having the two terminals. Suppose A is input and B is the output is there. Okay, and this is the switching terminal point is there. If this switch is open, so no signal would be passed from A to B. So it is called as a generally off switch. But if this terminal, it would be closed. If the switch is closed here, so whatever the signal available to the A, that would be passed to the B. Okay. So the main role of the switch is to switch the signal from one terminal to the another terminal, or pass the signal from one terminal to the another terminal. In our household also we have to use the electric switches that would be basically used to turn on and turn off the light or fan or other electronic gadgets are there. Again, here there is a two conditions: either it is off or on. When it is in off mode means the switch is open, so no current is passed through one end to the other end of the switch, and because of that, whatever the electronic gadget is connected to that particular switch, that would be remains turned off. But if you would be turn on the switch, then the connection has been established between the two terminals of the switch, and it would be start to draw the current to a particular device that is connected to the output terminal of the switch. Either it is electric bulb or LED light or fan or TV, whatever. Okay. So in this way, our day-to-day life, we are very much familiar how the switch would be work. But one condition is that when your switch is open, when your switch is open, at that time, why the current is not flow across the terminal of the switch? Can anyone tell me this answer? I'm not talking about the MOSFET or BJT. I'm talking about generalized function of a switch. When your switch is open, like this condition I have shown in the slide, the signal would be not transmitted from one terminal to another terminal, or whatever the output is connected to this B terminal, it will not turn on. So what is the main reason? Can anyone tell me? This reason.
दोन पॉइंट मध्ये करंट फ्लो होण्यासाठी सोर्स नाहीये तिथे त्यामुळे.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? If we are talking about the current, so current would be you have to be first theorem you would be remember, that is called the Ohm's law. If you have to be talking about the current, and the immediately in our mind it is the coming the Ohm's law, where that says that the V is proportional to the I, or V is basically equal to I into R. So here the proportionality constant is what? Resistance. So when the switch is open, the resistance offered by between A and B terminal are, it is infinity. If the resistance is infinity, resistance having the property to oppose the flow of the electric charge, oppose the flow of the current. If the resistance is larger, or it would be nearly to infinite, there is no possibility of flow of the charge carrier, so there is no possibility of flow of electric current. Okay. But as you would be decrease the resistance, how you would be decrease the resistance across the A and B? When you have to be connect this switch, the now connection is established, a conducting path is connected, and this conducting path would be decrease the resistance across A and B. Now if it is an ideal switch, resistance is 0. If it is an practical switch, not an ideal, so the resistance would be very much low, as such as low that it would be allow the flow of current. And when the current is allowed to flow across the A to B, whatever the output device is connected to the B, it would be turned on. So here the major role is played by the resistance between the switching terminals. Same resistance would be also play an important role here also. So as we have declared that B is a drain and A is a source, okay, and we are providing the biasing voltage or input voltage from the C terminal. Suppose you are giving a very good input from this C, okay, and it is greater than the threshold voltage of MOSFET again. So in the gate terminal, when we are getting a voltage that is greater than the threshold voltage, obviously my transistor would be turned on, MOSFET would be turned on, and you would be see that between a drain to source there is no connection, direct connection. So there is some resistance across these two terminals. Now your transistor is turned on, but it is in which region? If I don't know, we don't know till the other condition we are not defining. We do not know that it is working in the cutoff region, it is working in the saturation, it is working in the non-saturation. But in all conditions, there is some resistance is present between the drain to source term. So if I am saying that my MOSFET is turned on, so whatever the resistance between these two terminals, that is referred as the on resistance, because our switch is on or our transistor is on, so it is called as the on resistance. That is mentioned here. The on resistance consists of series combination of RD, means drain internal resistance, RS, source internal resistance, on whatever the channel resistance exists, because drain to source there is some channel. If you remember the construction of the MOSFET, there is some channel present in between the drain to source. So this on resistance is a combination of drain resistance, source resistance, and channel resistance. Okay, and it's a series combination. So it is addition of all these things. So this would be play a major role for the MOSFET to work as a switch. Okay. Now we would be see out of these three resistors which is having the dominant property, which is having the dominance here. So typically by design the contribution from RD and RS is small. It is small such as the primary consideration is taken from the channel resistance. So here the channel resistance would be play the major role to work as the on resistance. Okay. So in on state of the switch, voltage across the switch should be small. Voltage across the switch should be small means VDS should be small, and VGS means at the C terminal, the input terminal, VGS should be large. So then if VGS is large and VDS is small means what? There is for MOS device is assumed to be biased in what? Non-saturation. Assumed to be biased in the non-saturation. In general, we know that in non-saturation region, our transistor would be act as a closed switch. The same phenomena is shown here. VGS should be large and voltage across the switch should be small. In that condition, your MOS device would be assumed to be in non-saturation region. And we know that what is the current value in the non-saturation region. If you not remember, please note it down. That we have already discussed in the first chapter. ID is equal to mu and COX W by L VGS minus VTN into VDS minus VDS square upon 2. Sometimes also we write mu and COX W by twice of L, and here twice of VGS minus VTN into VDS minus VDS square. So we have just little bit modified. We have taken the 2 common and 2 to cancel out, and it will be the remaining terms are in this formula of the current. We can write this equation or simplify this equation like this also. Here mu and COX is replaced by a term that is called the capital K dash. It is also you can consider W by L is keep as it is. It is the aspect ratio. It is very important term, and the rest of the term would be the C. This is the current during the on state. when your transistor is biased in the non-saturation region. By keeping the condition VGS is large and VDS is small. So it is small. VGS should be small value and it is a large value. This is very important condition and that is called the non-saturation region or linear region also. If you want to bias your transistor in more non-saturation region, or you want to keep it in a comfortable position that it is working as a closed switch, means it is called a deep linear region. It is a linear region example of the current, but if you want to consider that your transistor would be biased in a deep linear region, so at that time you can consider VDS is very much smaller than the VGS minus VT. If you would be, you can assume this VDS is very much smaller than the VGS minus VTN. If you assume like this, means your transistor is biased in the deep saturation region. Okay, you would be assume that your transistor is biased in the deep saturation region. Here we would be use again one thing in the notation. It is, remember that I am using the combination of AC and DC. Here I is small and D is capital, means it is a combination of AC current plus DC current. Here also B is small, GS means combination of AC and DC get to source voltage. Threshold would be always a DC quantity, so it would be keep as a capital, and VDS is again a combination of AC and DC. Okay, so if you would be consider this condition, so your transistor would be biased in a deep linear region. So at that time you can ignore this last term. At that time you can ignore this last term. It is also useful for your analysis to find out the value of R on resistance. Okay, but for now we have to keep it as it is. Now we have to find out the value of or mathematical equation of on resistance. Here we have defined the current formula in the non-saturation region. Now what is the formula for defining the, it is mentioned VDS is less than the VGS minus but greater than 0. So what is the formula for the small signal channel resistance, that is R on? Can anyone tell me? What is the equation for R on? What is the equation for R on now? Here, what is the equation of R on? How we find out the value of R on? That is the channel resistance, small signal channel resistance. Small R means small signal channel resistance. Follow the Ohm's law. What is the formula of resistance? Voltage upon current. So here, small signal channel resistance is del of VDS upon del of ID. ID we have already defined, and keeping the DC parameters constant, or Q point is constant. So in this way we can define this R, but we have not defined the equation for VDS. We have defined the equation for ID. So you can also write this as 1 upon del of ID upon del of VDS. Both is correct because we have defined the ID. So see what is the formula is coming out, 1 upon del of ID upon 1 upon del of VDS. And here one thing you have to always remember, keeping your Q point constant. Okay. So what would be the equation or come as If you remember the previous equation, you have to be differentiate the ID with respect to VDS. So K dash is a constant here, W by L is a constant here. Okay, it will be remains as it is. So only the differentiate would be what? If you remember the equation, you have to be differentiate here this term. So here VDS, you have to differentiate this with respect to VDS. It would be 1. It would be remains as it is, VGS minus VTN minus twice of VDS. So 2 would be cancelled minus VDS. So that's why this equation is coming out. So K dash W by L 1 upon K dash W by L VGS minus VT minus VDS. Okay, that could be further written as a L upon K dash W VGS minus VT minus VDS. If you would be further elaborate and see the importance of this equation, what we are getting actually from this equation. So I am just elaborating the concept. So K dash is what? It is mu n C naught X oxide capacitance per unit area, and then rest of the term. You can write a DC term or AC term because we are keeping the AC DC as a constant. VT minus VGS. Okay. Now see what we are taking as outcome of this particular analysis. So if you have to be see, your small signal channel resistance is depending upon three main parameters. Which are these three parameters? First is mobility. Mobility means mu n of electron. Okay. So as the mobility would be increases, your resistance would be decreases. If the mobility is decreases, means your resistance would be increased. So which is the factor? What is the factor for decreasing or increasing the mobility? Temperature. As the temperature of the device would be increases, mobility would be decreases. And as the mobility decreases, your resistance would be increased. Okay. So depending upon, because it is electron, negative temperature coefficient is there. Now COX. What is COX? It is oxide capacitance per unit area. So as the oxide capacitance increases, capacitance level would be increased, your resistance would be decreased. And the third and very important parameter, that is called the W by L. That is called the W by L actually. This is called the aspect ratio. It is called the aspect ratio. Okay. So this would be, if the W by L ratio is increasing, so your drain small signal on resistance would be decreasing. Okay. If the W by L ratio is decreasing, your resistance would be increasing. Okay. Means your device size would be decreases, it will be make an effect on your channel resistance. Now we have to be see a relationship. Whatever I have told you verbally, you can correlate with this term. So here there is a one graph is given, illustration of on channel resistance for n channel MOS transistor. Here you can see there is a three graphs are there. Okay. So what these three graphs says that in the first graph W by L ratio is 1, second 2, 5, then 10, means as we increasing the W by L ratio, you can see this is the y-axis on channel resistance and this is versus input voltage of VGS. Okay. So as you increasing the VGS, as per the formula, it is inversely proportional to the on resistance. Your on resistance would be decreases. So as you increasing the VGS, your resistance would be decreases and it would be more actively acting as a switch. Okay. It would be more biased in the non-saturation. First condition is that. Second, as it is decreases VGS, your resistance would be increases, means it would be acting as open switch in this area. Now, as your W by L ratio increases, as it is inversely proportional to on resistance, your means your device size would be increases. Then what happens? Your resistance would be decreases and more amount of current is flowing. Okay. So for smallest value of the W by L ratio, your resistance is more. For largest value of W by L ratio here, your resistance is less. Okay. So your current flow would be increases or it would be acting as a more actively as a switching device. So this is a very important relationship. Okay, so you can take a snapshot of this graph. This is very important relationship. So this is basically all about the MOSFET as a switch. Now we have to see the next topic, MOSFET as a resistor or the diode. But before that, we have to be little bit. This is the inverting. We have to learn about the inverters, because MOSFET could be acting as a diode, or the resistor would be as a configuration of inverters. So what are the inverters? For an IC technology, it is used in the digital circuit design, and basic circuit element is the inverter. Once the operation and characterization of an inverter circuit are thoroughly understood, result can be extended to the design of the logic gates and other more complex. If you have understood the working of the inverters, you can easily design the higher end circuits like the NMOS logic circuit, CMOS logic circuit, CMOS inverter, NOR and NAND gates, and other gates are there. Okay, so this is the beauty of the inverter. Now I have to before going to the actual topic, you have to take an overlook of the some formulas. This would become in work when you have to learn the inverters. The N MOSFET, N channel MOSFET we are going to use here. In the saturation region, the condition is VDS is greater than the VDS sat, and the current formula is ID is equal to Kn VGS minus VTN whole square. In the non-saturation region, again the formula is little bit modified and condition is modified. Now VDS is less than the VDS sat, and current formula is ID is equal to Kn twice of VGS minus VTN, VDS minus VDS square. And the third important concept is the transition point. In the IV characteristics, we have to see a transition point from where your transistor would be biased from saturation to non-saturation, or non-saturation to saturation. That is, the condition is VDS sat is equal to, should be equal to VGS minus VT. These are some important terms that we have to always remember when we are learning about the MOSFET based circuitry. Okay, now I will just take a little overlook. Time is very much less, 5 minutes. So we have to take a overlook of this particular. This is the, everyone please draw this circuitry. This is the circuit diagram of NMOS inverter with resistive load. NMOS inverter with resistive load. So here you can see that at the, this is the drain terminal where we have to be connected a resistive load RD. This is the drain terminal. At the gate terminal, we have to apply the input voltage Vi, and the source terminal is common. This is the common source configuration is here. Okay. So in this case, this circuit would be could be called as the NMOS inverter, because your output voltage would be always the inversion of the input voltage, 180 degree out of phase. That's why it is referred as the inverter. But here the as a load device, we have used the resistor. So what are the conditions of working for this particular circuitry? So if you have to see, Vi is the AC signal with the DC biasing. The combination of AC plus DC output is also combination of AC plus DC. Current is again the combination of AC plus DC. Only the supply voltage is DC. Okay. Now we have to know the basic condition. If your Vi or VGS, it is same here because there is no resistance between them. So Vi and VGS is same. Is if Vi is less than threshold voltage, means your transistor is in cutoff region, and ID is equal to what? ID is equal to 0 in this condition. And if ID is 0 means what? There is no voltage drop across this resistor. If there is no voltage drop across this resistor means what? Your V0 or VDS, whatever you can say, it is equal to what? VDD. Whole supply voltage would be appear at the output terminal. So no voltage drop across RD, and output voltage V0 is equal to VDD, or it is also you can written as a VDS. So in the cutoff region, your transistor would be acting as a open switch. Okay, no current would be flow across that switch, and your output voltage is equal to the supply voltage. Now the second condition, when your Vi is greater than the threshold voltage, now your transistor is on. And when you will be turn on the transistor, it will be directly biased in the saturation region. initially biased in the saturation region. And what is the condition for the saturation region? Your VDS should be greater than the VGS minus VT, or VDS should be greater than the VDS sat. So what is the current formula? We have learned that ID is equal to Kn VGS minus VT whole square. Okay, there is some amount of voltage drop across this resistor, ID RD. Now your output voltage would be decreased. It is decreased from VDD to VDD minus ID RD. Now your in the saturation region output voltage is VDD minus ID RD. It would be decreased to some level. Now, if you have to be see the third condition, your VI is, we are now increasing the VI very much high, and it is equivalent to the VDD supply voltage. If it is equivalent to the VDD, then what happens? Transistor is on, obviously, and it is biased in non-saturation region. And at that condition, VDS is less than VGS minus VT. Because what happens? Your VGS is equal to the VGS is equal to the VDS. And because of that, what happens? Your it would be transistor would be enter into the non-saturation region.
Because of that.
And if it is enter into the non-saturation region, it would be acting as a closed switch. And VDS would be, as the VGS is increasing, your VDS is decreases, and as the VDS is decreases, your transistor will enter into the non-saturation region, and it is acting as a closed switch or switching device. So these are the some conditions. Now we have to be elaborate this circuitry in the next lecture with the graphs like this. These are the some graphs. That is the one of the graph is representing the transistor characteristics, another representing the voltage transfer curve. Okay, and on this basis of that, we have to be analyze that how it would be working as a switching device or the as a resistor. Okay, so refer the book of Donald Neiman for this. Okay, chapter number 16 is there. MOSFET digital device is very important topic. So once you have to refer that, I would be share the PDF of book to you in your group. And today I would also share you the assignment. So please go through the assignment and solve that assignment of the first based on the first unit. Okay, thank you all of you.